In this video tutorial, we will talk about how to print from Paperspace. So as you can see, if you look down here, you can see we're in the Model tab. You can see we're in Model Space. And we just have some arbitrary geometry on the screen. Doesn't really matter what it is, what it looks like. Just that we have geometry in Model Space. And you can see down here we are in Model Space. So I'm going to click on that, and that highlights us into our Layout tab. That takes us into this Paperspace. I could have clicked on Model tab right here, but to show you a different way to do it, I'm going to double click outside of this blue polygon. When I double click outside of it and that polygon is no longer highlighted, I'm now in Paperspace, which means I can get to things that are sitting on the paper. Now when we say paper, we mean an electronic piece of paper. There's not really a piece of paper there, but it's an electronic piece of paper. And so all of the objects you can see that are drawn out here, as well as the title block and the border, they're all in Paperspace. To double click inside, that will activate Model Space. Now to show you the difference, I'm going to go here to Southwest Isometric. Notice the objects changed, but my text out here did not. So that's how you can know these are in Paperspace. In here we're in Model Space. So let me take it back to top view and scroll down a little bit. There we go. So I'll double click back outside of it. So when you print from Paperspace, we have to right click and go to Page Setup Manager. Okay, when we go to Page Setup Manager, that's going to take us into an area where it will show all of our layout tabs. Now right now, we only have one layout tab. You can have multiple layout tabs across the bottom, but we're not really talking about that. We're just talking about how to print from Paperspace. So with our TBAL-PS highlighted in blue, which is our layout tab, which is what we're in right here. That's where we access our Paperspace. We're going to go to Modify. And Modify will bring us into something you're used to seeing. This is the exact same dialog box that you print from Model Space in, but instead of saying Page Setup Dash Model, it says Page Setup Dash, and that's the name of our Layout tab, or that's the name of our Paperspace we set up with this tab, because you can have more than one. So just like in Model Space, we're going to select the proper printer first. And of course, just like in printing from Model Space, we can do other things than print. We can turn things into PDFs, we can publish things to the web, and other things as well. We also need to select our paper size, which is the same as what I normally use. Teaching in school, we use letter size all the time. Instead of saying layout, or instead of saying limits like we normally have, it now says layout. And again, we want to leave our plot offset 0, 0. And unlike printing from Model Space, where we put in our 1 and then our scale factor right there, we stay at 1 to 1 when we're printing from Paperspace. We're going to do monochrome because we don't want to waste color printing on our drawing. We'll have nice colors in the drawing itself, but we're going to print it out in black and white, and everything else can stay as you see it here. Now, we're going to cancel out of this real quick, close this, just to show you one other thing. So when I am printing from Paperspace, I have to make sure that my scale matches right here. So I'll go to 1 to 1. And then I can hold my wheel down, move things down so they're out of the way of any title blocks or whatever. And then I can lock it. There we go, it's locked, which means now I can't move in and out of the viewport. I can only move in and out and make the paper move farther away. I'm going to show you another way to do it. Another way to do it is type in zoom at the command prompt, type in scale. I'm going to type 1-1 XP. XP stands for in Paperspace, and hit that right there. Now it didn't move because that's the same one. So we'll do it there. We'll do 1-2 XP. See that? So spacebar, bring us back in. Zoom, enter, scale, enter, 1/1 XP. Now, showing you how to do that does not encompass all the things you'll have to do with different scale factors. For instance, you can't enter a decimal when you're typing that in. There's other things, ways to overcome that. But I'm going to lock it again. And I'm going to double click outside here. And I'm going to go back in here again. I'm going to right click, go back into my page setup manager. Make sure that's highlighted. Go to modify. And make sure everything is good. And I believe it all is. We're at monochrome. Nothing's checked. It's normal. These things are normal. Landscape. We're 1-to-1. That's good. So I'm going to preview it. And that's exactly what we want, just like that. So once everything is good, I'll click OK here, and I'm going to close. Now, that's just to set it up. To actually print, I'm going to go back here and print like I always do. I can preview it here too, just like it was before. And it's ready to print. Now you say, why did we have to go into that other window? Well, because when we went down to our tab, right-clicked and went to our print manager, we're setting all this up so that it stays that way. It's set up permanently that way for that layout tab. Because if I had 20 layout tabs across the bottom, I would need to set up each one of our plot dialog boxes to match that layout tab. So each layout tab is going to have its own settings. And once those are set and you know they're right, you can actually print things and leave for the day, and you know they're going to print right because you've already printed them that way, you've tested them, and everything's good. Because those set of options stay with that layout tab. So once we were satisfied, we'll just click OK, and you will then print from Paperspace. And that is how you print from Paperspace.